Greetings, everyone. Thank you for attending another segment of the Growth Hour. Tonight, we have part two. We have part two of our last week topic, which is, can a person in the committed relationship have a friend of the opposite sex? Friend meaning, for the purpose of this show, the definition is someone that you talk to on the phone, someone that you hang out with, someone that you confide in, someone that you trust and respect. That is the definition of a friend for the purpose of this show. Someone that you talk to on the phone, you call, someone that you hang out with, someone that you confide in, and someone that you trust and respect. So before we get into this interesting topic, we're going to make our announcements for all of the organizations, including the Reinvention Center. We're going to start off with the Dwayne Brooks movement, and we're going to allow Aisha Robinson at this point to take control of the wheel and give us an update.
Good evening, and thank you for this space. Dwayne Brooks is my brother. He's currently incarcerated in the state of Ohio. Right now, he is 35 years in and still serving. He is convicted wrongfully of an aggravated murder. And just to kind of bring everyone up to speed, we have realized that there were some serious violations, Brady violations, where exculpatory information was withheld during his original trial, didn't receive a fair trial, did not get access to information that was available that would have supported his innocence. And now we are all these years later. In November of 2022, there was an evidentiary hearing to hear his motion for immediate release and new trial. And in that trial, the former prosecutor, the prosecutor who prosecuted him, admitted on the stand that they absolutely did withhold information. And that was their normal practice to do so. And sorry. And so now, since November 4th, we've been waiting for the judge to come back with a ruling on, whether or not they're going to grant his motion for immediate release and new trial. That was November. We are now at April 2nd, and I believe Mr. Jones has a video that I would like to share just for those who have not heard about Dwayne, don't know him. Here he is in his own words.
Behind bars, a convicted killer waiting to learn if a judge will grant him a new trial speaks.
They didn't care about me. I was nobody to them.
Dwayne Brooks maintaining prosecutors got it wrong, that he had nothing to do with a 1987 murder in Cleveland's Luke Easter Park.
They wanted a conviction. They sought that conviction at all costs.
And now his attorney alleges a decades-old policy by prosecutors could have hidden evidence in that murder case, evidence he believes could have cleared Brooks in this crime.
So it's a story News 5 investigators broke last month. And tonight, from inside prison walls, Dwayne Brooks tells his story publicly for the first time to News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.
I wrote everybody I could think of. Please look into my case.
Locked away behind the razor-wired fences that break up the surrounding farm fields of Grafton,
No one has believed.
Dwayne Brooks wondered, was anyone listening?
I was screaming into the wind for all of these years.
Insisting for nearly 3.5 decades he's not
It's terrible, man. It's
what the state says he is.
It's one of the worst things you could carry around in life.
Murderer.
That you killed somebody that you didn't kill.
It's a label Brooks has worn since his conviction for the August 1987 murder of Clinton Arnold.
What happened? Luke Easter Park, August 17th, 1987.
I don't know. To this day, I don't know.
How do you not know?
Because I wasn't there.
Brooks insists he wasn't even in Cleveland that day. He says he was in New York, on Long Island, had been for 2 days. It's why he says he wasn't worried when police arrested him months later.
I thought it would be a quick process, that they would figure out that it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. and didn't turn out like that.
Instead, an old friend from high school cut a deal with prosecutors, testified Brooks was the trigger man. The jury believed it. Brooks, then just 22 years old, sentenced to 25 years to life in prison.
When I first got to prison and they slammed that door behind me, I laid on that bunk and I cried. And I cried. But I still thought that, you know, within some months, whether it was 3 or 6 months or even a year, that this conviction would be overturned.
It wasn't. Years of appeals went nowhere. A sense of hopelessness set in until one day last year.
I don't even know what I got at that point. I don't know what it all means.
But you knew it was big.
I knew it was big, and I knew it was everything that I had been telling people all of those years.
They were police reports from the murder, revelations Brooks had never seen, that a witness put 2 other men in the van used in the deadly shooting, and that the man who testified Brooks was the shooter was himself under FBI investigation. Brooks' attorney says he never saw those police reports before trial.
They never shared the reports with you. They never copied a report for you. They never let you read it and take notes for the most part.
The lead prosecutor on Brooks' case says in 1988, the policy was police reports were not handed over to defense attorneys. That policy has since changed, but Brooks' new attorney argues it cost his client a fair trial.
The documents that were favorable were withheld, and it would have made a difference.
Prosecutors are fighting that claim, arguing in a court filing last week, despite the police reports, there is overwhelming evidence of Brooks' guilt. But 35 years after the murder,
So much weight has been lifted that the truth was out there now.
Brooks feels like someone is finally listening.
I don't have to scream into the wind anymore. People can read it for themselves.
Now 56 years old, Brooks says he finally wants what he was denied decades ago, a chance at a fair trial.
I was a killer to them, someone to look down upon. And all the dirt, you know, that's been heaped on me, I keep shaking it off. And I know I'm not a criminal. I know I'm not supposed to be here.
A Cuyahoga County Common Pleas judge is expected to rule on Brooks' motion for a new trial early next month. Reporting live, I'm News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.
Hello.
Hi,
Do you have body wash by any chance?
sure I
I'd
do.
like 2 of those.
You just need a body wash?
Yeah, actually. Hey.
You're
Good
welcome.
night.
You too.
Alicia, we can hear you. I'm gonna mute her right now. Thank you. Aisha, any words before we move forward?
It's hard for me to watch, so I think the biggest thing, you know, with all of this and just looking at that, rewatching it, reliving it.
You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
It's only a snippet of what, you know, took place. It's very tragic and unfortunate that this is allowed to happen more often than not. This report was done sometime in December of last year, and it is now April. The judge said that, you know, he would have a ruling sometime in January, which is why the news report states that. And here we still sit, just kind of waiting in limbo for his life to be decided upon.
Well, hopefully, hopefully that a decision is made in the near future and Dwayne's Brooks' freedom is granted to him. We are definitely looking forward to seeing him in May in Ohio, you know, for the Bridging the Community event, which I'm going to have Miss Lisa Riley from Breaking Silence Prison Reform update everyone about, you know. So at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Lisa Riley.
Oh, thank you so much. And I have to tell you, Aisha, I'm praying for an answer because I know in my heart Dwayne's coming home. And I still believe he's going to be with us in May for sure. But May 6th, Bridging the Community is the first event with Breaking Silence with Prison Reform, along with every great people on this panel. All you wonderful people are going to be there. I'm praying. So it is on a Saturday. Like I said, it's May 6th from 1 to 4. This is a free event. People were going to eat. Taste for Homeless is going to come and feed everyone, which is a blessing. We're going to have speakers and bouncy house. It's just going to be a family oriented, wonderful day to give back to the community, to have a great day to meet and talk with everyone and give Dwayne a great big old hug, because I'm still saying he's going to be there. So, but with that, if anybody else needs any information, they can inbox me on Messenger or go to my Facebook page, Breaking Silence with Prison Reform, and reach out to me on there as well. Okay, and with that, I'll pass it back to you.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna jump into, we have some more announcements. I apologize before we go into the topic. We have an update from a family member of ours, so consider this all family. We want to update everybody on the process and some steps that we are presently going through with him, via him. Mr. Kevin Hayes, how you doing, sir?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Jones, Reinvention Center, Aisha, and Lisa Riley, Breaking Silence. We had a show regarding inheritance and quagmire of not having a will. God willing, we have a future one on it to update why it's necessary you should have a will. But recently I was going through some inheritance problems, and we filed a motion in the court regarding that. They granted me and my sister the estate they granted us to be over the estate of our mother's of our deceased mother's estate. Took it from my sister, who was trying to steal all of our everything. I pretty much said we was dead and there was no inheritance. She's the sole inherited of my mother's estate. So everything's working out, things is moving forth, and I thank Mr. Jones and everybody here for this platform and everything. So basically, we it's still a working process, but the process is working and it's moving along. So I hate it. It's plain and simple. I hate it, but this is the only ball game in town. So I should just be patient. I'm with you, honey. I'm with you. I feel you.
Hey, so one thing that this does is let everyone knows that with diligent work, there are results. You just have to continue to be diligent in the work that you put forth. If you don't plant a tree, it bears no fruit. So we have to continue to, plant our seeds and cultivate our seeds and make sure things manifest until they do. We just have to be patient. We would love to see things, happen instantaneously. Unfortunately, we don't control it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We speaking, as Mr. Park says earlier, we're speaking this into existence. This is going to happen. And we just want it to happen sooner than what the Creator may want it to happen. But we all know, and the Creator knows, that Mr. Brooks is ready to come home and deserve to be home. That's the main thing. Deserve to be home. Sasha and Manti, they wanted to make an announcement. So we're going to pass this over to them at this point here.
We'll just make a quick one. First of all, we always give our love and send our energy to Mr. Brooks. He's definitely coming. I say this with confidence. My brother and I say this with confidence because I saw that snippet that you just played, and they're always marketing a certain idea to help them try to strengthen their position when they really are losing. So it's actually something of confidence to say, oh, I see you. You're losing. That's why you want to put that out there, as in to say the prosecution actually has something. They don't. They obviously don't. So I want to say that first and foremost. We wanted to mention that we have a few events that are coming up. We're doing an anti-violence forum in Brooklyn, New York. That's going to be done in Restoration, which is a well-known area for advocacy for community. And then we also are going to have at the end of the year a gala, in addition to a concert for anti-violence, but specifically, and which coincides with the topic today, is we're going to have May 29th, if you can hold, May 20th, sorry, if you can hold that date, to join us on Revamp, which is basically an event that we had. This is our second one, about mental health. And I think that coincides with how we relate to each other, male and female, in the different types of relationships we have when it comes to mental health. I find that one of those important aspects of deciding what strength we have in relationships, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, best friend, whatever it is, uncle, aunt, so on and so forth, is the fact that we have to recognize that all of us have been affected by racism and concepts of white supremacy and biases. And those things have affected us, making us deal with cognitive dissonance. And those things make us have some pretty bad decision-making qualities. And so we need to make sure that we bolster cognitive resonance and be able to have those real conversations. So we just invite everyone, May 20th, hold on to that date. We'll send out some information on Revamp, strengthening mental health.
And let's not forget, there will also be a theme of school to prison pipeline.
Exactly.
So that's also the main factor of why we're doing these events.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for putting forth the events that they're putting forth, which will be helping the community. This is what we do. This is why we're family, because we all are on one accord, on one train, trying to chug one down the tracks. With that being said, we're going to jump into the juicy topic today. Last week, we had to end the show, even though we wasn't ready to do so, but we are back today to finish this show and get this, pick off where we left off at. The last thing that was being said was it was a comparison between economical statuses, and it was said that one economical status, the people who have more money don't have the same or don't go through the same thing that the people who don't have money go through. And Mr. Hayes was responding to that. So what I wanted to do is allow him the opportunity to finish responding to that, sir. Go ahead, sir.
No, I didn't get a chance to finish up, but yeah, I was responding to it because you have like Jeff Bezos and his wife. He was cheating on his wife with his secretary or something like that. So these are, but what start off again as a friend. It start off as a friend. So these is we talking about billionaires. Then you have Bill and Melinda Gates. Yes, they are divorced. Same thing. Then you had Donald Trump, who's been married 3 times. You know why he left Marla Mabel? He left Marla Mabel because the cops seen an abandoned limousine one day by the beach. And she was in the back, she was in the beach behind one of them beach chairs or something and having sex with the chauffeur. And then he has his history of infidelities, and these is billionaires. And forget about the Kardashians. So when people say that this is a money thing, or rich people don't do this, I beg to differ. Angela Jolie, look at what's her name, most recent, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. She's sleeping with Elon Musk, but this is supposed to be old boy's buddy. I mean, so this is money has nothing to do with it. This is what happens, and there's so many lists of so many other celebrities that go. Another Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen. Who's she sleeping with? The bodyguard or the trainer or somebody? These is people that been in their lives. So who knows what's been going on all that long, all that time. So this isn't limited.
So let me ask you this. I want to ask you a question because you said two things that's important. The first thing is the people that they end up in a relationship with or doing in relations with are not strangers.
Correct.
These are people that are in their lives and at some point was in a position of trust. At some point, it's a good possibility. We wasn't there, so we can't say 100% was that person that they hung out with, because they spent time with, the person they may have confided in, somebody they trusted and respected. These are people of the opposite sex that end up, not saying all, we're not making an absolute statement, but they ended up, I'm not saying absolute statement because other people have different things, opinions. But these are people that were people that was close to them, somebody they considered a friend. You know, go ahead, sir.
Somebody that they confided in, someone that they seen regularly, someone that they did.
And it's not about money.
No, it's not about money.
Not about money. So we're not going to say. So we're going to take it off the table. Not about money. And pretty much everybody that you have said something about, it has went into relations with someone that was in their close proximity. It wasn't a stranger that they just met on the street. It was somebody that they trusted. Go ahead.
I'll give you a better example if you don't mind. Jennifer Lopez, when she had her little backup dancers and all that stuff, when she left Puffy, she ended up marrying Chris Judd, her backup dancer, somebody she sees every day on the set, somebody that she talked to, somebody that she confided in. She ends up linking up with the backup dancer and ended up marrying him. And these millionaire people. So it's not limited to your finance.
Okay, I appreciate that. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Mr. Jones, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty fair for a square. I want to say good evening, everybody. You guys sometimes shame me because normally I jump right into it. That doesn't mean I don't send my prayers, my well wishes, and my hopes for you guys, whether it be Aisha, Kevin, Lisa, everybody. You know, I usually just in a predicament where I don't have a lot of time to be on the phone. I'm kind of doing something, but I always enjoy these interactions. This is very, very enlightening to me. I want to share this with you. The way that James has wrapped this question about what a friend is, about spending a lot of time, about doing this regularly, there's only, I'm going to say, in my opinion, there's only one sensible answer. No one would appreciate or like that. I caution you phenomenal people to not put people in the box. There's like 7 guys. I wish Mr. Dip was here. I hope Carlos Parks is listening. I wish Dwayne was listening. The young man that was here last week that impressed me. I wish Maurice was here. But you guys are phenomenal people, man. And people can't put you guys in the box, as well as Miss Sasha and her brother. You guys are phenomenal. People can't put you in the box. Don't tell me about 90% of the inmates that play basketball. You know how much time you guys have given back to those folks? My cousins and other people that I know that are in jail or in prison haven't done what Aisha's brother's done. You know, they've given up. They haven't. I gamble. You know, I play 2255 because of Kevin Haynes. You know, this man said he sat on the 2255 waiting on a response for a number of years. You know, I would have been, you know, whatever. So I caution you guys about putting people in boxes. As far as the question of cheating, this topic with a friend, again, I think that you can have a friend, you can have a hobby, you can have a passion, you can have a career, you can have anything you want and still be in a relationship as long as you don't disrespect or as long as you respect the relationship. You know, that's what it's about. I don't think that any of you guys on this panel, guys or gals, is going to do anything that you don't want to. You're at that juncture in your life now where it don't matter if it's a friend or not. You know, so when my brother wraps the question around if someone does something repeatedly, my response to that is that I wouldn't want her to tell her mom how much money we got in the bank. That's her mama. Don't tell her how much we got in the bank. I don't want her to tell her biological twin or the problems I'm going through with my siblings. I don't want her to tell her pastor the challenges we may have in the bedroom, our intimacy. Irregardless if they talk to him once a month, once a year, every day, none of that's relevant. You know, as long as you respect the relationship, you can have and do whatever you want. You know, that's how I feel about it. You can have a spin class. You can be workout partners. You can be buddies. You can have, that's how I feel. I don't think that you can group people and say that friends cheat. I believe all of y'all on this panel interact with people, not all the time. The way my brother wrapped this question, not every day, but you guys are friends with a lot of people, and people like Carlos Parks and my brother James and my brother Kevin Haynes. You guys mentor, interact, and socialize with people all the time. You have made a decision not to disrespect your relationship, not to step out the boundaries of it. You know, so even if you do talk to this person all the time, if you did, you don't, because you respect your relationship. And people program differently. Carlos Parks mentions that he doesn't interact with women, you know, doesn't have any friends. That's how he programs. You know, I know pastors that do that for real, that if they have the counsel of female, it's done in a glass room and with the secretary sitting outside. I think the vice president does something similar where he won't have a drink with a woman, and that's cool. That's how you program. You may be in a position, my brother James, where he's going to interact with women. But he's not going to disrespect his relationship. And if it's something that's offensive or something that his woman or his spouse doesn't enjoy, doesn't like, not comfortable with, even if it's just one time, not every day, not all the time, not super intimate, not with regularity, friend or encounters or whatever. It's about the relationship, and it's about not putting people in boxes. I also want to say that I hear Miss Sasha when she's speaking about ideology, concepts, how they're changing things, and I believe in that too. It's a bigger picture than just the friend. That simple thing with my brother saying intimacy with regularity, everyday duration, regularity, and who it is. I think that is not what makes people cheat. I think
Okay, so
that.
let me ask you this, Mr. Jones. So the things that I'm describing, would you say that they're behaviors?
Correct, and that's what we talked about. Those are behaviors. That's not about being a friend, because I can have a friend if I don't behave that way, you know. And I do have friends, and I do have a female friend. And my brother, you have a female friend, but you're choosing not to disrespect or offend your person. Yeah, those are behaviors. That's not who you are. And my person speaks with her cousin and her friend girl all the time, but she prioritizes me. You know, she doesn't offend me. She doesn't disrespect me. So if she did or did not, every time, all the time, or every day, the regularity, the how long or how often or whomsoever, that's irrelevant. Like I say, it could be the guy at your church that you only talk to once a year, every Sunday. You can still offend me. You can still disrespect the relationship. You can still. So that's my thought process on that. And I don't like when you go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
And I don't like again. I don't like when we put people in boxes, because none of you guys, these guys and girls, are put in boxes. You guys are phenomenal people. Don't tell me about the other 50 inmates. Tell me about Kevin Haynes. When I'm speaking about Carlos Parks, don't tell me about the other guys that got out and quit. Tell me about Carlos Parks, because he did. When you talk about whomsoever, tell me about Maurice Clifton. So you can't say, and I believe a great many of the people that get out of jail go back. You guys are not going to, you guys have made up your mind. And it's so comical. I used to be I've always told you this here, Derek, that I used to think that, man, you when you face some struggles, you're going to go revert back to what it is. But you have convinced me you're not going back to prison unless it's something in defense of someone you love. You've shown me that. But I used to be so afraid, because I know things don't go the way people plan. And I used to think, well, he's going to pick up what he used to do and what he had some success at. But that was my greatest fear with you. And I tell you this all the time, Derek, because things don't work out the way you think that they are sometimes. And I know that you got some skills, but you've turned those skills into positive things. You still hustle, bro. But I realize that you hustle honestly, you know, that and so don't put people in boxes, like we're saying, when we say, I don't even want to touch this, all women cheat, or these people, you know, whatever. No. We're not talking about that. And it ain't who you are. It ain't how long you talk to somebody. It ain't how regularly you talk to somebody. It's the behavior of offending someone that makes you, it ain't your friend. You know, and also when we keep talking about how you meet these people, Kevin Haynes, we normally have relationships with people we spend time around. You know, he cheated with his secretary because they see her all the time. You know, he doesn't go to bars, or he doesn't. I see how relationships develop, and they're usually from the job or from whatever your hobby, or from the gym. And that's where you meet people at. You know, that bar scene, I really see that on TV, and that'd be like a hookup to me. To me, that's my experiences. And I don't hook up, but I'm saying I don't find that most relationships are through the bars and stuff like that. It's the church, it's the job, it's the gym, it's the, you know, and that's why people, you say they're friends, you know, but, you know, and even you really have few friends in life, people. You know, you can say what you want to say, but really don't have all them friends. That's my spiel on that, James. I appreciate
I
it.
want to say this here before I know Kevin here got his hand up. Kevin, I would like to say something, play a video, and then allow you to speak. Thank you for your comment, Mr. Jones. I want to say this here. I don't want you to feel as if this is just my way of thinking. You know, today what you're going to see is other people look at it the way I look at it. You know, it's an old saying, you need to be around like-minded people. You know, when we look back at relationships prior to ours in different generations, and I'm not going back years and years and years and years. I'm just saying when we look back at some different relationships, a lot of things that's going on today wasn't on the table. They wasn't on the table because the people were committed to their commitment. And because I'm committed to my commitment, I respected my commitment. I wanted people to know that, hey, my commitment is important to me. It's a priority to me. And you're not going to come between me and my commitment. So now when you're saying, hey, you know, you're crafting it in a way where it's only one after. No, I'm looking at it from the way the people that I be around or I deal with or I listen to, how they craft it. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play different videos of different people that and you hear their perspective. It's not just my perspective. As we said, it's behavior. And if I don't have no, because we get it, we hear the word friend. Some people hear the word friend and they automatically say, okay, you can't control if I have friends or not. What, you don't want me to ever have a friend, or you don't want me to deal with it? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the behavior with the friend. It wasn't okay for her to be parked behind the thing with the bodyguard or whatever the case may be. It wasn't okay for whatever else may have happened that caused people to break up. Those are behaviors. So now the thing is, it's okay to have a friend, but something you got to change your behaviors. Your whole behavior may not be okay because you can't give the indication that through your behavior that the person you're dealing with is bigger than your commitment. And
got you. But your question has been, can you have a friend? Can you be friends? And you just told me
for the definition of this, with someone of the opposite sex that you confide in, someone you talk to on the phone, someone that you hang out with, someone that you trust and respect.
Okay.
I personally feel
as long as you respected the relationship, you know, that means you prioritize your woman. Even if that's my boy and I talk to him every day, we play video games every day. I'm not a gamer and things of that nature, but I prioritize my woman and my family and respect my relationship. I can't have that. My behavior is not going to be offensive.
I'm agreeing with that. I just said people construe it as saying that we don't want them to have friends, period. No, I'm not saying don't have no friend. I'm saying in the course of you having a friend, your behavior has to send out the message to everyone that your commitment, you're committed to your commitment more than you're committed to your friend.
Okay, you know, but you can't have a friend long as
you can have a friend. You just got to look at your behavior. You see what I'm saying? So now, I don't think that it's good behavior for a person in a committed relationship to be confiding in someone in the opposite sex. I don't think that it's okay for somebody in a committed relationship to be hanging out with somebody in the opposite sex. Get up and call them at least once, twice, 3 times a week or more. I don't think that it's okay for them to confide in that person about business in the house. I don't think it's okay for them to trust and respect this person more than you trust and respect your commitment. I don't think that's good behavior at all.
Correct. I agree. But you,
okay,
as
so
long as you don't.
Go ahead. I'm not saying you can't have a friend. I'm just saying that that's not good behavior.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, let me play this video. And then we're going to get to this. I want to play this video. Let me find it. I'm doing 2. Y'all, please forgive me. I'm twerking 3, 4 things at one time. I'm trying to get Mr. Dip in the show. And I'm going to play this video. So let me share my screen. Okay, this one here.
Male friends that she hangs out with, without you, particularly single male friends, but I'm going to say all male friends. She has male friends. She hangs out with them without you. You're not invited. She has those private conversations with them without you present, and she wants them to remain like kind of like alone time. This is hard to swallow. Either that guy's the backup or you are. I'm telling you straight up, it doesn't work like that. And it's a sign of disrespect, frankly, I think, to behave that way. Once you're in a relationship, certain dynamics have to change. She has male friends that she hangs out with without you, particularly single male friends, but I'm going to say all male friends. She has male friends. She hangs out with them without you. You're not invited. She has those private conversations with them without you present, and she wants them to remain like kind of like alone time. This is hard to swallow. Either that guy's the backup or you are. I'm telling you straight up, it doesn't work like that. And it's a sign of disrespect, frankly, I think, to behave that way. Once you're in a relationship, certain dynamics have to change. She has male friends.
Okay, were y'all able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hayes, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start with that. Basically, that's what I was saying, Mr. Jones. Go ahead, Mr. Hayes.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. I believe Mr. Parks was before me.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Parks. Mr. Parks, are you there?
It might be shower night at the house, so you know.
Okay, go ahead and do
you
what
may
you're
be
doing.
preoccupied. Okay, but to address that video and everything your brother said, I'm gonna give a prime example. Me and each and every one of these women on this panels are friends. When I talk to Aisha, when we talk, we might be on that phone for 3 hours, but we don't talk every day. When we link up, you know, by way of these different events, we link up, but we don't link up every day, every week, every month, or anything. And it's mutual respect on both sides. And Aisha is my friend, but I don't know about the intimate details of her relationship, what goes on in her household with the man that she's with. It's the same thing with Sasha. Whenever we see hug, kiss, oh, I love you, blah, 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 blah. Oh, both beautiful women. Beautiful. Don't call late at night. Hey, come on up and see me sometime. No, I see them, her and Manty, usually once a week, or sometime if we're doing an event in New York, we'll meet up. And when we meet up, we meet up. And they are my friends, and I love them. And I love them. But I don't know about the intimate details that's going on in their life. I don't know by way of their man or something like that. Anything like their wealth and wealth, whatever situation, we address that. We can talk and stuff like that. But certain things you aren't supposed to share because that's stuff that's supposed to stay in the house. So we are friends. So to say that you can't have no friends, no, I have friends. I have friends right here on the panel, but it's within a balance. It's within a balance. Go ahead, Mr. Parks. I was trying to get you in there.
I had to step off for a second. Kids had to go to bed, but I think we need to keep things in focus, right? Because James asked a very specific question.
Okay, hold on. Before that, did you just see the video I played?
I didn't. Nah, I just came back. But
okay.
I had to
play it again.
Okay, go ahead and talk while I'm gonna look for it.
Right, no, so James acted very. So me, I pay attention to detail, right? I pay careful attention to detail. I'm almost OCD with it, right? So I'll say this, right? He asked, can if you're in a relationship, can you have friends with a person of the opposite sex? And I had said emphatically no, right? And the reason I said that, right, is because we ain't gonna talk about the reason. I'm gonna say this, right? I'm a chess player. I play chess. I don't know who else on here is a chess player. I'm an avid chess player. I play chess. I understand how chess, is a lot like life, right? You're playing chess in life. In chess, there's a lot of moves you can make. There's a lot of moves, and each move comes with a certain amount of risk. Risk is what's important, right? So you want to make your best move in chess. Which move is the best move for you, which is going to increase the chances of you winning? So at the end of the day, it's about winning, right? So I hear a lot of arguments based on principles or what should happen. Or this should, okay, we understand you should. I'm not insecure in my relationship. I will repeat, right? It's just that I want to provide more security in my relationship. I want to provide increased chances of my relationship being successful. So it's not about, you can talk about, oh, well, you should be able to do this and you should be able to do that. Okay, you can do that, but you can do this and increase your chances. Now you making that move might not be as much as strong a move in the chess move than the one I'm gonna make, right? I'm gonna make my best move. What they say, James, make your next move your best move. So that's how I play all the time. All my moves, I'm always trying to move my best move. My best move is to not have female friends. None, right? Now, I go even further than that. So I'll tell you a little bit, right? I was on Jenny Jones, man, in 1994, right? 94, 95, one of those years, right? Yeah, I was on there, right? So just a little idea about me, man, historically, right? So I know the old me, and he gone. It's not an issue. I don't feel like I would fail a test because I have been tested and I passed with flying colors. Right? You're gonna have tests, but I'm gonna put myself in a position where I'm gonna have as little tests as possible, right? And that comes with not like I say, friends are just plan Bs, in my opinion. Now, like what Kevin said, the relationship can have a friend. Me and my wife have friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they both are our friend. It ain't just hers, you know what I'm saying? See, that's a very, you gotta point out that difference. Kevin Haynes is friends with a couple, right? Like I have, like me and my wife are friends. Like my homegirl is our friend. She went to school with her. That's my homeboy's baby mother. That's our friend. But I ain't got no just my friend, and my wife don't know him, right? Or my wife don't deal with him. Nah, you can't be friends. And I just want to make it's very different, right? How you're looking at it. It's just not your best move. We're talking about your best move.
Okay, I want to say this, Mr. Parks. Aisha, I'm gonna play this video so you can see this, and I just want you to hear this video. But I don't know if you heard. We're saying that it's okay to have friends. I feel friends of the relationship. Using a different word, I feel that we have to be committed to the commitment. The two people in it have to be committed to the commitment. So anybody that's going to be a friend has to be a friend of our commitment. Meaning they have to be doing things that's in the best interest of the commitment, not just one party inside of that commitment. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now, because if you're for one party, then you're not for the commitment because you're not going to, so now I'm going to play this video, then I'm going to let Aisha speak.
Has male friends that she hangs out with without you, particularly single male friends, but I'm gonna say all male friends. She has male friends. She hangs out with them without you. You're not invited. She has those private conversations with them without you present, and she wants them to remain like kind of like alone time. This is hard to swallow. Either that guy's the backup or you are. I'm telling you straight up, it doesn't work like that. And it's a sign of disrespect, frankly, I think, to behave that way. Once you're in a relationship, certain dynamics have to change. She has male friends.
Exactly, man. Where did you find that?
Hey, we got more for this. For this.
Exactly, man. I mean,
this exactly. And again, I wanted to say, that's not my view. I may agree with that person, but that's not just me looking this way. They say like-minded people think alike. When I get in a relationship, I want the world to know that you cannot be more important than me and my spouse, our commitment. I don't want nobody feeling like that they have a connection or a hold over my significant other in a way that I don't have a connection or a hold. You see what I'm saying? So now some things have to change. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying nobody's no bad people. I know that, but I'm just saying some things have to change. Aisha, go ahead, ma'am.
Is that relationship or marriage?
We're talking about commitment, brother. We're not even talking about relationship or
committed.
marriage. We're talking about commitment.
The committed relationship.
Yes, sir. Okay, it's committed. Because you can, I know committed relationship. I'm not going to give an example of that. Go ahead, Aisha.
I just want to say, I do consider a few of you definitely my friends. Like Kevin Haynes said, we are sometimes on the phone for hours, right? Carlos Parks, I just adore Carlos Parks. I really do. And they are my friends. They're not people that I'm gonna talk to every day, but because I love Carlos Parks, right? I love his wife as well. As a friend, as a real friend of his, I want him to win. I want him to do whatever he needs to do to increase his chances of winning in his situation. I totally get that. I understand that. And I think, like the gentleman stated, this is more about a behavior. So, Mr. Jones, you gave us a trick question.
Is it a trick question or is it one that people deal with today?
Well,
because we deal with this all the time today.
I think
So
it's
now
a trick question. I think it is a behavior. And I think, as stated, it is definitely boxing someone in. Because as a friend of someone, right? As someone, if I'm really truly someone's friend, I'm going to support them. I'm not even looking at them in this type of way that is, going to be sexual or anything like that. If that's what's going on, then that's not a friend. I'm not a friend to that person. That person is not a friend to me. It's not a friend. That's someone that that you have.
Let's agree on that. Let's agree on that.
What happens if you have a husband and say, just like you're a perfect friend and you just described, but if your significant other now say, I don't want you to be friends with other males, so you got to cut him off. Do you now cut him off and his wife?
Let me answer that. Let me respond to that. Okay, you kind of came in late, Mr. Dip, and we all agreed that it's not about controlling or saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's about behavior.
I know. I was
Okay,
watching
so now,
everything. I'm just saying an example. What she said, she is good friends with him. We ain't gonna take it back that far. This is cutting easy. She is a friend, a good friend. That's a good male friend that she had. She got a new man. The new man say, well, I don't want you having significant others. I don't believe on my side that we should have that. Do you now cut your male friends off that were there before your new significant other that you now decide to have this commitment with? Do you say your lifetime friend, well, no longer can we be friends? Just
I got an answer too.
Very likely.
Yes
not.
or no?
That is someone. It's someone. I'm going to introduce my significant other into that friendship. Like they have to understand what the friendship is before I just say, yes, I'm cutting off a friend, someone that I truly consider a friend. That is a platonic relationship, whatever it may be. Now, again, it is absolutely inappropriate for me or him to be confiding or sharing anything personal or anything like that, right? But in my life that I live,
We're going too deep into it. It's just if he tells you he doesn't even want none of that to come up, just like the gentleman said earlier, I don't believe in it. I don't believe you should have it. So now, do you cut your friend off?
Probably not going to work for me.
Since we're not
friend, or
raising
you're
hands.
not going to cut him off?
She just said it's not going to work for her. You want her
Which
to
one?
say it a different way? Aisha just said it's not going to work for her. That
new
means the
relationship?
relationship is not going
gonna
to
be
work
a
for her.
committed relationship that Aisha would be able to be in, because Aisha can't deal with someone that's not dealing with logic, like reason. I'm not to be controlled, right? And if I'm not doing anything that is wrong by speaking on the phone with Kevin Haynes or whomever it might be, right? If I'm not doing anything wrong, and you are more than welcome to, and I'm inviting to be a part of or understand who this person is.
And I
Again,
shouldn't have to cut my friend off.
it's a
Nah,
behavior.
but so Aisha,
Thank
Aisha,
you.
if you want to think from a perspective of someone who wants to be a wife and not a girlfriend, you're gonna have to cut that relationship. If a relationship is preventing you from going forward in
That's not the relationship for me.
friendship.
That's not my husband.
There you
All
go.
right, but you might
Thank
not ever find one if you're not
That's-
willing.
But what makes you think I don't
I
have one?
said you might not ever.
Untrue. She can find me. I think the same way.
Yeah.
She can have all the
Hold
male
up.
friends she
Yeah,
wants.
and that's why both of y'all single. Like,
Wow, my God.
if you
Forget, I've had relationships and marriages and a lot longer
Okay,
than
man,
6
listen,
years.
Okay, listen.
We already
Hold
heard
up,
about
hold
you.
up, hold up.
You said you was married before.
We got to keep a little order with this here. Aisha
I got my
said it's
hand
not
up.
for her.
Your brother got
Mr.
his
Jones
hand up.
has his hand up. We're gonna get back to Dip. We're gonna come back to Dip. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Okay. As she's saying too, and as Carlos Park saying, everything is not.
You got to unmute yourself. I apologize. I was muting others and accidentally muted you. Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Everything ain't for everybody. I'm talking fast here. As she's pointing out, that's how I feel. My brother wrapped the question in a way that no, I don't want nobody to offend, disrespect, or to go outside of the relationship, whether it's a friend or not. Don't give friends a bad name. As she said, if my other feels some kind of way, not happy, not pleased, not satisfied, or not comfortable, then I got to make my other comfortable. We got to compromise. My dad was in the service. James, you know, our dad was in the service, so we traveled around. But I got friends, Donnie and John, that knew each other since preschool. These guys have been, Monica and Donnie been friends since preschool, you know. So when she introduces me to this dude, I got to accept it, check it, or respect it. I got to figure out a way to live with it. If that means that I'm not going to be with her, then so be it. You know, I don't think that you're supposed to cut off your lifelong friends that are truly been friends.
I don't, you see, that's what I'm trying to prevent from happening. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to prevent from happening. See, Dip came and interjected that into the equation. We started off by saying you don't cut your friends off because it's not about the friend, it's about the behavior. You have friends
Correct.
on your job. You got friends you meet other places. Y'all are
Correct.
friends. It's only when the behavior comes in that makes it something that makes a person question or say, hey, this might not be good for our commitment. You
So
see
that's
what I'm
what I'm
saying? So
asking.
now, we're not saying you can't have no friends, and ain't nobody trying to control nobody. And I don't think that anybody coming in saying, hey, you got to cut that person off or I'm leaving, as Aisha said, without knowing that person. You got to at least be fair. And this is why I understand why Aisha said it's not for me. If you're not willing to be fair and try to get to know the person that you're telling me to cut off, and you can't give me a legitimate reason for cutting it off, then it shouldn't be cut off. That's control at that point there.
You're
You see what I'm
speaking
saying?
for
So
yourself.
now, okay,
I
so
get the-
now that's what I'm doing. I'm speaking for me. And
I get the
you're hearing
impression that
everybody else's
Carlos-
perspective. Now,
I
hold
get
on,
the
let me
impression
finish.
that
Okay, let me
Okay.
finish. Now I want to say this here. Whatever works for Mr. Parks works for Mr. Parks.
there you go.
You don't have to say, Mr. Parks is not trying to impose what he's doing on everybody else. He's saying what he does. He always say, for me, for Mr. Parks, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to always increase my chances of my relationship working. So he ain't trying to push his principles or his ideologies or his way of doing things on anybody. But we're not going to say, hey, when we get there, we're going to cut it off, because you know the trigger words that's going to take the topic off of something and make the person say, hey, they're trying to control me. That scenario that Dip explained is a controlling scenario. That ain't what we're saying. We're saying the same scenario that happened with Bill Gates with President Trump's wife, where they had people that was around them all the time that they confided in and trusted in, and they end up having a relationship with. Because of, as you hear, I'm not telling you that, you can go read it for yourself. Situations like that have happened. You have gentlemen that think like Mr. Parks and say, well, I'm not going to put my wife or me in that predicament for that to actually happen. Nothing wrong with that. That's what works for him and his wife. You see what I'm saying? If she's okay with what goes on and he's okay with it, nobody else, that's their life.
Am I hearing him say that that's the right way?
No, he's saying that that's what works for him.
My hand
let
up.
him-
Hold up. Let me.
Okay, well, I'm going to let him speak for himself. Go ahead, Mr. Parks.
My hand. Look, man. First of all, ain't nobody told me to do what I did. My wife has never told me I couldn't have a female friend. She don't have to. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm moving on what I feel is going to increase the chances of a successful relationship. So let's get that out the picture first, right? This is my action that I chose to do. Now, it's certain things that I feel like there should be boundaries in a relationship, right? And sometimes boundaries aren't respected. If my wife had a male friend that she would talk to on the phone and he was constantly confiding in her, I wouldn't like it, because I would think, okay, he confiding in you, you probably confiding in him too. So y'all just confiding in each other now. That's not a comfortable position to be in for a man, right? So as a woman should, or a man, either a man or a woman should want to make their mate feel as comfortable in the relationship as possible, right? So if it's something you do, don't trigger him having to say something to you about it, and you already know that it's kind of messy. You already know. Now, I'm not saying end the relationship with your, but kind of tweak it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of tweak it. Put some boundaries up. Like, look, man, I might not be the best person for you to talk to this about, right? Change your role in the relationship. You can still be friends. No, you can still be associates, right? You can change from being a friend to an associate. My best friend since second grade, he's a male, right? We're not like that no more. Like, he live in Atlanta, he married, I'm married. Once you get married, your wife becomes your best friend, or your husband becomes your best friend, right? So like, really, all of the things that you're talking to these friends about, you should be talking to your mate about, right? Or your whoever your committed relationship is with. That's who you're supposed to share it with, right? And they're supposed to share things with you. We're supposed to be open in a relationship. And really, for a person to confide in you, if you coming back telling me everything, I'm good. But you know, like, and then you're not really, you know, it's no secret. If you're sharing, like, I can't, if you tell me something today, I gotta tell my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an open relationship. Like, don't expect it to be no secret if you know I'm married, you know, because she gonna hear about it, right? So, but anyway, man, I mean, I'm not saying you guys got to do that. That's what
I want to say this, Carlos and Derek, James. I think that you guys are giving friend a bad name, because the behavior can occur with anybody at a conference, you guys travel a lot. Carlos just went to DC. He could have ran into somebody. You're not going to do this, Carlos, but Carlos could have ran into somebody he just met and disrespected his relationship. So don't give friends a bad name, because if it's a friend, like you guys are saying, they respect your relationship. They're the friends to, if it's a friend, don't give friends a bad name. It's what I'm trying to say, because they respect boundaries.
Okay, so let me say this. If I'm not the one that's doing the behavior, I'm not giving it a bad name. All I'm saying is, I don't want, if we're gonna make some changes, if that behavior develops or arises with the male that you deal with. That's what I'm saying.
What's your question for tonight, James?
No,
tell me what's the question.
You're missing probability. It's about probability. What you just said, that scenario you just gave about meeting a stranger and something messing, yeah, that could happen. But the probability of that happening with someone close to you is greater. So we're talking about the mathematical chances of it happening. Probability, man. So
That's what
you shooting these scenarios out there, but what's more likely to happen?
Hey, you missing me. Nothing's going to happen that I don't want to happen. Carlos Parks, you're not going to cheat. I don't want to talk about most men. I don't want to talk most men, or you're not going to cheat. The probability of us going to a concert or going somewhere and most men turning down these women that flirting on them is low. With Carlos Park, it's gonna happen. So it ain't probability, it's the person. You're not gonna cheat. You in DC, they're impressed by your suit, your haircut, and your speech. You still gonna shut them down, So it's the person. I hear what you're saying. You in that area. You could be an alcoholic and
How
go
can
to
I
a bar.
raise my hand?
You gotta hit the thing. So that's what I'm on.
You know you after Aisha now. You after the video.
Reactions.
Who, me?
Yeah, you after the video. Let's hold on. We're gonna play. We got Aisha. We got Drew first.
Andrew
Aisha.
had it. Yeah.
Andrew first. Aisha. Then there's a video, and then there's the big dip. But go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I'm monopolizing too much. I hear you, but as I was telling them when you were doing the shower thing, You guys are phenomenal people. Don't put people in a box. Don't tell me about, you guys gave back so much penitentiary time. I'm talking about Carlos. I'm 2255 is a class 4 number I played because of Carlos Haynes. I mean, excuse me, because of Kevin Haynes. He said he waited so many years to get a response. That's crazy to me. You know, the things that Maurice Clifton went to jail with ghost drugs. That's crazy. You guys, Carlos Park gave back time. My brother James, had like 30 counts, man. He got a post-sentence plea. That means they convicted him, and then he got a plea deal. We already beat you. You guys are phenomenal. Don't put people in boxes. Don't tell me about probability, because the probability, Aisha's brother, what happened to him, and they can just sit there on TV and say, yeah, we didn't used to do that. That's crazy. When you're talking about probabilities, I'm talking about people. I'm not talking about, I agree, I understand, but that's not the question. And the question tonight my brother put on the thing was, can you be friends with an opposite sex? Can you be with something along those lines? That's what he says. And I believe you can. As long as you have boundaries.
And I gave you the definition of a friend.
I got you. And that's why I say you.
So you okay with your woman doing those things with the opposite sex?
And you know that's not true. I'm not okay with her doing it. Oh, I'm not okay with her doing it with anybody. If it's another female, if it offends the relationship, it doesn't. It don't even have to be a friend. It could be a stranger, a boss, a pastor. It don't have to be.
Let's agree on that. Let's agree on that, because we're gonna keep pushing forward. Let's agree on that. But I want to say this here. You keep, and Drew, you get ready for your thing, Drew. You're saying, hey, we are phenomenal guys. We did exceptional things, you know, and we have a different way of looking. We have a different way of thinking. This is why we we thought ourselves out of these processes. So we're bringing a different way of thinking now, just like we did before, to get ourselves out of these situations, and they're being rejected. You know, hey, but guess what? We love it. We love it because we're challenging your thinking, and we're doing our job. It is our job to pull the wool from off of your eyes, to cover from over your face, the scale from off of your eyes, and this is what we're doing. We're giving you some information from a different perspective. I'm not just saying it myself. I'm finna show you 4 or 5 different videos that say different things, but from 5 different people, from 5 different geographical locations that look at it, that look at it the way we look at it. Why? Because hold on. Why? Because they say when you start, when you get involved in something, I want to be an engineer, and I'm going to school for engineers. Now, people in the school where I'm at, we all think alike. We had the same common goal. So now, because I'm gonna be more gravitated to those forms of conversations, more so than I am just whatever.
You're gonna show me stuff to support yours on this panel.
I did not stop you from bringing anything you wanted to bring. So
I got you. I'm just telling you.
We all knew 1 week ago we was coming back tonight. Now you're gonna fault me because you didn't get no ammunition to come with. I'm wrong for that.
I'm gonna fault you because you got the mic. I'm saying tonight, if you ask these people on the panel, I ain't going no videos. Ask these people on the panel, is it the behavior or the label of the friend?
We already agreed it's the behavior, which lead to him.
So why you dirty macking the friend?
Okay, okay. All of the people that Kevin Hayes named that got divorced, Trump wife, Bill Gates, all of these people were dealing with friends. This was not some stranger. It was somebody that was around them. So now you're saying, why am I dirty macking? I didn't tell a friend that was entrusted by the husband and everybody else that was in the commitment to break that trust. You gonna fault me for that?
You want me to talk? You stop talking.
Absolutely.
You ask me a question.
We're gonna go ahead. Thank you for your comment.
That's what I hold you for.
Thank you for your comment. We're gonna come back to you.
I got an answer
Think
for that.
about it. We're gonna come back to you because we gotta move over. Think about it. We come back. Drew, go ahead, Drew.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I was a little late to this session, but I heard everything. I saw the video. I laughed real hard on the fact that Carlos has said you're gonna be single because the man or shut down the whole idea of the friend. I just laughed. That's pretty funny because like, who is you? Like that's just my reaction. Like, you know, who is you to tell me who I can't be friends, and let alone this is somebody I've been, you know, friends with since pre-K, and you just coming on the scene now. You just kind of telling me who I can. That's like dictating. That's control a little bit. That's a red flag to me. Just me personally. If that's how you're gonna just think you're just gonna come into my life calling the shots, telling me who I can interact with, and I'm giving you the opportunity to meet. I'm telling you, look, this is what it is. I'm being straight up with you from the jump. and you telling me no, and it's a veto, I can't get down with that. So I think I might be single too for a minute, because that's just it's morals. Like, it's just not like that. And I want to touch back on something that we talked about a little bit last week about the whole friend and being a friend of the relationship. And everybody is agreeing that it's about the behavior. So, and I give you a real life example. A friend is being brought in through somebody else. Let's say it's a male and female, right? And now the male and the female, being brought in by a married couple, right? So the friend is being brought in, you know, she's kind of like let's say a mediator. Now the friend of the original couple is broken up, right? They're no longer together. But the married couple is still friend of the girl, right? It's still friend of the girl. And they still kick it, you know, they still invite her to the house, because at this point it's like they family is intertwined a little bit. Even though they keep things separate, they don't even ask, you know, how everything's going on with the former partner. It's completely, you know, platonic, everything on both ends. Both of the marriage couple confide in that same friend individually, one-on-one time. Yo, da 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 da, she's bugging out. I don't even know what's going on. Da 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 da. But the girlfriend knows, because the girlfriend just got the call earlier saying, "Yo, you're not. This is what's going on, and this, that, and the third, and this is what's going on." So now, and because a couple people said, you know, the husband in that situation was dead wrong for calling the friend, asking like, "Yo, what's going on with my wife?" Like, talk to me, like, you know, is she telling you anything? Like, what's going on? Is it wrong for like that? Like, I'm just at, and this is real life situations where, you know, in even though the married couple is not even together, like they went through their trials, their tribulations, you know, they severed the relationship and whatever. But at the end of the day, all three of them are still friends. They either get up with each other on their old times, and it's strictly platonic. So I just wanted to throw that in there, because, and I wanted y'all input. Is it wrong for the friend, even though the marriage didn't work and yada yada yada? And maybe that's the wife's fault for confiding in the girlfriend and not going to the husband. Maybe that's something y'all could tell me. But is it wrong for the friend to be the mediator, even though she's not even saying, "Oh, fuck him, he not shit," or, you know, she's bugging, you know, this, that, and the third. It was.
Hey, you know your mom on here, right?
Yeah, I know. But
okay, go ahead, Kelly.
Go ahead, guys. I just want to know, because it's like that. So I just want to know.
I think that if you're a friend to the commitment, then you do not lean toward either side. Do that make sense?
So no, that makes sense. So in that case, is the husband like, is that okay for the husband to confide in what's going on?
Absolutely not. And I got a video for that. So absolutely not. I don't think nothing should come out of the house. That's what I feel. Nothing should come out of the house. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. That don't mean that's law. That don't mean that everybody has to abide by that. That's just my opinion. It was Aisha next, or was it Kevin? Oh, it was Kevin. Kevin.
Basically, regarding about putting people in boxes, we're not dealing with ideologies, this, that, and the other thing. When you begin to confide in people like a pimp, emotions comes into play, feelings come into play. Then it's the head thing. All this come into play. So most of us is from the street, and we know how to read certain situations. So this is just bigger than just boxing somebody up. So we already know, we all can, it's the same game in prison. Certain doors you don't allow to open up, because if you allow them to open up, they'll be exploited. Then you might have to kill somebody or severely hurt somebody. You understand what I mean? So that's what this is. It's not about boxing nobody in or packaging up something a certain type of way. Because when different type of emotions and feelings come into play, that's a whole different ball game. So that's what I just want to make clear regarding that issue. But you can go ahead with your video, Mr. Jones, on this.
Okay, let me grab this
I want to
video here.
quickly say, like, while you're looking,
ahead.
these sound like real like cognitive distortions. Like when you know you have one situation, and then before you can even let something play out or have communication, have a conversation, we're off to probability, and it's highly likely, and I mean, now you want to do bodily harm because you see it going this far. Like that's some rather extreme stuff. And then if that is the case, like you probably have some much more serious issues going on within your relationship.
No, What I was thinking about bodily harm was that's the example I gave about when you're in prison. When you're in prison, if you see certain things that's happening, like regarding disrespect, if you don't nip it in the bud, then it will turn into something physical, or where you have to either kill somebody or do bodily harm. What I'm saying is you don't invite insult for injury. So therefore you kind of like stay away from it. You nip it in the bud early on in prison. And I'm using this in relations to the situation about boxing somebody up. Boxing in, Mr. Jones said earlier, his brother, regarding us boxing somebody in about the circumstances and reasons. And what I'm saying is you don't invite certain things, like because emotions come into play. Feelings for the individual come into play who you confide in. They confide in you all the time, you confide in them. Feelings and emotions, you begin to look at them in a different way than you would just normally look at me, how we talk on the phone, like, well, you know, and then one thing, you know, eventually may lead to another. So therefore, you don't even open up the door for that. And that's what the example I gave, Aisha, was just an example regarding how we do there, not the relationship as a whole in the you know.
Yeah, so I think Kevin, I follow you 100%. You're talking about, so we see further down the line, right? Because inside it can mean the difference of life and death. So our depth perception is a lot different than y'all's, right? So we look further down the line at what could become a potential problem if it's not nipped in the bud early. So that's part of the reason why I look at it that way, right? I look at it becoming a potential problem down the road, especially when you talk about women, because women cheat emotionally. So if a man is sharing with you emotional stuff, how he's feeling, eventually you're gonna talk about your emotional, you know, feeling, how you feel. And that's a fact. Women cheat emotionally, men cheat physically, right? So if you start to share emotional, how you feel about things, you're really cheating. Like now, I'm not the only one who says that, right? Women cheat emotionally. You never heard that, Aisha? Women cheat emotionally.
No, I've never heard that.
I beg to differ. He right,
hold on,
but I beg
hold
to differ that they only cheat.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm gonna play this.
Heard that's why I'm a savage.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna play this video. Then we have Dip that's gonna respond, and we have Mr. Jones that has his hand up again that's gonna respond. I want to point out this before I play this video. We spoke up. Kevin Hayes started this show off, and again, me and Kevin Hayes have not spoken since the last show. So it's not that we're corroborating and we're just going off going off each other, piggybacking or passing it back and forth. It's not that. But I want to say that Kevin Hayes spoke of rich people that had people that was close to them doing what they were doing. And so now what I'm going to do is play this video.
Every one of those scenarios was right to worry about me. So you're 100% correct. Don't listen to any of this bullshit. We will have sex with your girlfriend. We're waiting to. And that's not all I'm doing is waiting. I'm also working. But while I'm working, this process is working itself out. This dude is having all the time
I'm gonna play it all the way through because it's already done. We're gonna play it
in the world to fuck up, to slip up. He's the one that wants to move her into a fucking house somewhere and take up all her time and be in her fucking space all day. Your boyfriends are always correct. Like, what do you mean you have a male friend? He's looking to smash, and in my experience, I have always gotten to. A lot of dudes didn't, but it's bad enough that the intention's out there. The main reason is a dude don't even want the disrespect of you keeping men around that want to fuck you.
Just by raise your hands, how many ladies in here have male friends? All right, boom.
God.
If you were in a relationship and your dude was like, I don't like you, really contacting your male friend, would you cut your male friends off?
Absolutely not. I feel like it's a boundary you have to set in the beginning of the relationship. I can honestly say that's where I fucked up with most of mine, is where you end up in that lovey-dovey puppy love stage and you don't explain the fact that you have male friends.
If he was just like, I don't like that you got a guy friend. No.
I have fucked all of my female friends, and this has happened in many different ways. A lot of it was through years of friendship where we were actually just friends. Still wound up out of the friend zone eventually, on the heels of a breakup with the last dude. And they all knew about me. It always got brought up somehow. Who's this dude? Don't worry about him. He's just a friend. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a friend, all right. I'm just a friend. And then I was fucking his bitch. But see, I loved all of them, and I had sex with all of them. The men in every one of those scenarios was right to worry about me. So you're 100% correct. Don't listen to any of this bullshit. We will have sex with your girlfriend. We're waiting to. And that's not all I'm doing is waiting. I'm also working. But while I'm working, this process is working itself out. This dude is having all the time in the world to fuck up, to slip up. He's the one that wants to move her into a fucking house somewhere and take up all her time and be in her fucking space all day. Your boyfriends are always correct. Like, what do you mean you have a male friend? He's looking to smash, and in my experience, I have always gotten to. A lot of dudes didn't, but it's bad enough that the intention's out there. The main reason is a dude don't even want the disrespect of you keeping men around that want to fuck you.
Just by raise your hands, how many ladies in
Okay. Big Dip, my man. Come on with it, Big Dip.
All right, here's a couple of things I'd like to address, but I'm gonna stick to these two base ones since things kind of keep getting spun out. We talking about the opposite sex and friends with, confide in the opposite sex friends and all that. I'm gonna just give two good examples of things that I know for a fact. As I spoke before, I remember when I, was doing what I was doing out here in the day. I sat in the locker room plenty of days with my girls, and they educated me to a whole lot of stuff about women and their moves. I learned how women used to tap phones in their houses back in the day when we had house phones. Every man, not 20%, 90%, 99, every man that I taught that technique to heard how their woman was talking and confiding in their friends, their parents, and their people that they were close to as friends, which weren't hardly a bunch of dudes. It was usually the females. And sometimes, like even in my circumstance, my mama and my sisters. So it's not about just having opposite sex friends, man. They gonna be crooked and no down. They're gonna do it no matter what sex it is. Part two of that is also you worrying about take it from me for sure. A lot of people run around worrying about, especially the men that, I'm making sure she ain't messing with this guy, that guy, so I don't like her to have male friends. Believe me, a lot of them females are doing the things that you worried about her doing with the males. They doing that together. So again, it still boils back to the intentions of you or your spouse. Part two, I used to go out of town a lot of time with my profession, we'll say. I've witnessed on many a day men who love their wives, have no intentions. They hanging out with us, no intentions on doing what we doing, no intentions on cheating on their wife, squares. But sometimes they get into situations, and God forbid they drinking or happen to smoke a little weed, get intoxicated. Well, now you in a situation, got 2-3 girls grabbing on you, saying, "Hey, we want to do this with you and do that." Now, once they're aroused, guess what? Common sense is gone. Now, see, when we're talking about this topic, and I know a lot of us are older, but that's why I say when we're addressing these topics, we can't just speak much on just our experiences here, the age we're in, and thing we've done. Because we got younger people listening, they listen to our experiences. What I know as a young man, when that arousal come, all common sense is gone. So you can't speak about what you won't do. Oh, you'll do it. After it's over, you'll regret it and think, oh, why did I do that? How did that happen? Then you got to go home and face the music. So we know it can happen. Now, as far as like Carlos saying, if we got past like we have, I agree 100% on sometimes. Remember, Kevin Hart even said it after he got caught. I now make sure I don't put myself in those situations where it can happen. because I don't trust myself and I'm super committed. I love my wife, but you know, when you can realize that it can happen, that's when you're ahead of the game. When you can keep hollering that it's not gonna happen, oh, it won't happen, yeah, that's usually how you get caught up. So again, like I say, man, it's not about just the friendship and having friends out the opposite sex. Me, you can have friend any sex. I don't care because I've witnessed it enough. And just like he said about women that cheat emotionally. No, what you mean with that, I would suppose is when your woman starts cheating emotionally, yeah, it's a wrap. That's like us cheating physically. But can women cheat just physically? Oh, I can tell you 100%. Yeah, they do that. My house was the spot for a lot of that. They can come out, creep out just sexually and go back on home and love you to death. Will not want to ruin their relationship, love you, but they can go out and cheat physically too. So I'll give you that information. You can run with that how you want.
Okay, so basically what I got from you, Mr. Dip, is don't put yourself in that position.
If you know that you're somebody who has a past, if you know you a nympho, it's like this. If I used to smoke crack and I
You can't,
stopped smoking crack,
Mr. Dip,
I'm-
you gave two examples. You say a man that's out and he's intoxicated or out smoking and women are
No, I
rubbing
said-
on him. This is
I
what you said.
Now, no, I said now.
You didn't say that?
Forbid
What I'm-
if he, no, what I said is that the situation coming along, but I said now even if he drinking or high, that's gonna add to it. But no, it's jokers that completely sober. But
Okay.
you get in a situation, you know, your wife at home, she don't do much, and you around us and seeing that these girls you think is the TV girls, the Instagram girls, you never seen women look like this, and now you got 2 or 3 of them on you. Yeah, you didn't have that intentions, but man, that temptation, I've watched a lot of men fall. You gonna go. You're gonna
Okay,
go. I've
okay,
warned some people, don't come with us.
that goes back to what Mr. Parks is saying then. Don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah, if you know yourself, you're not
It
that
doesn't matter if
strong,
you know yourself. You got even if you know yourself, the people that's coming, they're putting yourself in that environment around them type of people that are not thinking the way you think.
are
can
gonna
lead to
do
you.
that. There you go. You're right.
Okay, so
People
don't
that's
put yourself in
not
that
respecting you.
Carlos Parks
That's
is
not
saying I'm
respecting
not
your
putting
relationship.
myself in that position.
Right. You in the place, these girls don't care nothing about your relationship. They don't care about what you got going at home. They're gonna wreck your home.
Okay. Now, Aisha spoke on the gentleman coming in. Because you asked her a direct question. If a guy came in and told you to leave your friend, would you do that? No, you just heard on the video. A lot of women say, no, I'm not going to do that. We have to sit down and say, okay, well, hey, get to know this guy before you come to me and tell me to just leave that guy. I feel if a man or woman come into a relationship without knowing if the people knowing the significant other's friend and tell them, hey, cut that friend off, then I think that that's a controlling situation. I think that if they are in a situation and they agree, say, hey, this is what we're going to do together. I don't think that's about control. I think that's them making a commitment, and them saying we're going to accomplish our commitment by all means necessary. You know, so
if you got long-term relationship, because remember, you see how many kids, moms I have relationship with people since we was 12, 13, 14. I mean, and these relationships with some of these females, they not gonna stop. Period. That when you come in through the door, if you decide you want to be in a relationship with me, be very clear. I'm not gonna not talk to my kids' moms. My kids grown. I'm not gonna stop talking to some of these females that's been in my life forever. So once you come dealing with me, I come with a package. This is it. Now, I will guarantee you that if they ever were to try to disrespect our relationship, oh, that's gonna be cut and dead. But see, again, it depends on where you stand with people. All of my females, no. You're not gonna disrespect. Even with my marriage, they didn't like my wife. A lot of people did not like my wife. But the respect you're gonna have for me, which is what I'm going to require, you're gonna keep that to yourself. And we're gonna deal with us, and we might never have to talk about my relationship or my wife. But going forward, if you start to disrespect my wife, disrespect my relationship, yeah, you gotta get cut off. Because I've been cut off of a lot of relationships because the guys are intimidated.
Okay, so it goes from just having a friend to disrespecting the commitment.
Right.
Okay, so when it does that, there's a reason. There's a reason why you're asking them to make some changes then.
Right.
If that happened. But if you just coming through the door, how fair is it for you to say, Aisha or Carlos, I don't think that I don't want you having no friends. cut everybody off. It's just me and you, baby. How fair is that?
And I'm with her. Then we ain't the type of people need to be talking to each
Okay,
other.
okay. So, but that ain't what we're
With her.
speaking on in this scenario. I just want to make that clear.
Oh, yeah,
We're
I know.
speaking on what you just gave the first time about people. There's some behaviors that happen that make a person say, hey, you need to leave them alone. Mr. Jones, go ahead.
No. I asked her that question because it helped my point, because it was a simple way to prove something I was saying last week. That are you going to cut off your lifelong friends? I maybe forgot the conversation last week, but some people were acting like, yeah, you cut off a lifelong friend for your relationship that I've been in. No, that's not.
Let me share this with you, Dip. Me and you cool. But if you start threatening my commitment, me and you in the past, brother.
That's it. That's what it's supposed to be.
You know, I got lifelong friends. If you start threatening my relationship, that's a part of the past. That's what that is. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Okay. Actually, I was going to talk about something else, but I'm going to do this here. Carlos, I want you to, I'm talking to you now. Be careful, man. It was cute when you offend the ladies. I was laughing all the time, but I played chess. I played in the streets. I've been shot at. I've been shot. I haven't been to prison, but you know, sometimes you guys talk, I don't know it all, and that's y'all perception. So I'm starting to think that works for you, as you guys have eloquently explained to me. That's what works for you. That's your program. That's not the only program. I wanted to say this here. That's not what I wanted to talk about, is that removing your friends or removing those types of friends lessens the possibility, the probability. But I want you to know that she can get out of school at 3 o'clock, and I'm in the 8th grade. She got to be in her mama house at 3:15, and it's an 18-minute walk to the school, from the school. Got to get out at 3 o'clock, 18 minutes to get to the house. We can still find 5 minutes to kiss each other before she get home. But where there's a will, there's a way. You talking about friends, what about all the other interactions? And as far as confiding, prioritizing, putting people ahead of me, I don't care if it's a friend or not. That's what I'm getting at. That bad behavior is definitely a no-no, but it's not just a friend. I don't want you doing that with anybody. And I don't care if you only talk to them once a year. I don't care if you only talk to them once a week. I don't care if it's your mom. You know, that's what I'm saying, the friend thing. It's not about the friend. As James has said, it's the behavior. It's the behavior. And I play chess too, you know. Like I said, I ain't been to prison, but I've been to jail, been shot, you know, in a bad way. Play with guns. And one of my stupid mantras in life is, because my brother will beat me up, James, but I tell him we not in the penitentiary. You know, I don't gotta have no hands. You know, I got something else, you know, but you're not stupid for me to even say that. But yeah, man, that's my thing. Definitely the question my brother is asking, I'm not for that. But I don't think you should mislabel friends. And as Aisha is saying and Dip is saying, that controlling, Carlos has told us this is his program. That's how he programmed it. And it's not about his wife. It's about him playing his odds. It's how he chooses to do it. But I really do see him in scenarios where he doesn't interact with people daily, but he is going to meet women because of what he does. He's going to do it the right way, which is let them know I got a relationship, I got a wife. And I play those games too, Carlos. Anything you tell me, I'm gonna tell her. You know, I'm gonna tell her. You know, so you, and I tell you, I ain't no refrigerator. Shouldn't have gave it to me to hold. You told me you wanted me to tell her, but you can have friends, man. You can. That's not belief. You just can't have anybody, your mama, your biological twin sister, disrespect come before the relationship. That ain't got nothing to do with a friendship. You know, that ain't got nothing to do with a friendship. Your mom, I don't want you to tell your mama what we saved up. I don't want you to tell your girlfriend the problems that I'm going through. But I think that people do those things.
So can I ask your brother his relationship status real quick?
Not married. Got my own place.
Have you ever been married?
Married when I was 22 and got divorced when I was 27, because I realize now that I wasn't ready for that there, that I wasn't prepared for a commitment. Even at that time, I was still promiscuous and doing dumb things. I married my high school sweetheart. You know, I've also been to college and all of this other stuff. So like I said, when you say you play chess or you guys forward thinkers, you're not the only one. That just works for me.
Hold up. I stand corrected. I don't just play chess. I'm a chess master.
Really?
Nah, for real.
Okay, I just play chess.
It's a difference. Like a lot of people play chess. Nah, I'm like that. I play chess for real. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that, I don't just play chess. Matter of fact, I'm competitive in everything I do.
Gotcha. Now, if I listen to this shot,
it ain't nothing. I'm always trying to be first.
Listen to this shot I'm going to take.
Second place to me is last, right? So that's just me.
I got you.
I'm trying to be first. I'm trying to beat everybody in everything.
Did he ask the question last week about learning from the failures? We was talking about that.
Yeah, we did. That's the guy that said you can't learn because
I know.
haven't
Did he ever
had-
answer when I
I
said
said
that
what?
about
Hold
Yes.
on. I said what?
that
remember you
I'm
said
not
how
an
you were saying
expert
that
if I
people who
haven't done.
failed, right?
I said, no,
They
I'm just,
failed.
Let me
I'm
finish the
just
statement.
saying
You
One
said
person
I'm
got
not
to
an
talk at
expert
a
if I
time, one at a time, one
validation.
at a time.
if I haven't.
Validation. That's all I'm
if I-
saying. Validation, right? Is I would rather hear from someone, you know, who has proven that they've been successful at something than listening to somebody who hasn't. I didn't say you can't get good information or, you know, from a person who's failed. I never said that. So when I say I pay
I didn't
careful
say that.
attention to detail, is because I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying. Don't just pick and choose what you want to focus on. I never said that. So I just
No, I
said
didn't.
that
Well, personally, I didn't
said
say you said.
specifically, I would rather hear from a person who succeeded in something than a person who didn't. That's
Could
why
you
I
tell
would
me
go
how to
to
navigate
Michael
the streets,
Jackson.
Mr.
That's why I
Carlos
would
Park?
go to Michael Jordan about winning championships and not Reggie Miller. Because
How
Michael
many times he
Jordan can
failed
tell me
before he
about
won a
winning
championship?
championships. Reggie Miller can only tell me about losing championships.
Quick question. How many times will Michael Jordan tell you he failed before he even made it
That
to
ain't
play
got
basketball?
that has nothing to do with anything. He
No.
won
The
6
reason
home-
I asked is just because of
he
what you
won
said was
6.
if you fail,
He
well,
won 6.
when you was
He
asking
won
us the
6
questions
though.
last week about how many we succeeded in, you just asked how many marriages have you failed in? Well, I've succeeded in a bunch of relationships, and I think one of the other people you asked, we
How you
succeeded in plenty.
succeeded in something
And
if
when
you
if you
not still
fail,
in
if you
one?
got out of it, because Michael Jordan no longer played basketball, but he done won championships and been in it, and he got out of it. So I've had successful relationships that I got out of. At the time, we might have been in each other, but relationships fade. Had
You got out of
some for
something
many,
that
many
was
years.
successful?
Many
Hey,
years of successful
Carlos,
relationship.
could you tell a young fella how to navigate the streets nowadays? Could you give advice on the streets?
I
What
do
not
all
to
the
do?
time.
Okay, you didn't have any success.
The current
I do
street,
all the time. It's
Did you have
certain things
success?
about me that validate my word.
Did
Like
you?
they're not
Did
gonna just go to
thank
anybody.
you.
If
So
they
let's, okay, so we doing all this talking, let's come up with a nucleus of this here. Either we can't learn from somebody that fails, or we can't learn from someone that fails, or we gonna have to agree to disagree. What I'm hearing is this here. Y'all are saying basically, even if it didn't work out, you still learn from your experience, so you can still get some good information. Carlos is saying that, hey, he likes to use the word I. I prefer to go to somebody who is more successful at it, than to go to a person who has learned from their experience.
Still missing my point. I think
okay.
mine is totally getting overseen. If you look at so many success, autobiographies, my things since I've been young. A lot of people that don't even know a lot of these successful names and a lot of successful, just like we spoke on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan will tell you in his autobiography how many times I failed and had to work hard to overcome the failures to become the great. So you can learn from those. I learned the most, honestly, from the guys
We're
up on
agreeing with that,
MLK,
Dip.
the homeless
We're
guys.
agreeing with that.
Yeah, we
We're
do. No,
agreeing
we
with
not.
what you're saying. We're not disagreeing with what you're saying.
We
You're
who?
giving
We
your
who?
point.
You not?
Your point.
I haven't said anything different than what you're saying, Dip. You talking about something? I said I would rather. This is my preference. My
Right,
preference.
I got that.
I would rather. So you talking about how many times he failed? I haven't always won that chess. I mean, that's a part of the process.
Let me
In
see if
order
I
to
can
get
clear it up
good, you
one more
gonna
time.
lose. You gotta
It was
lose.
last week.
Punished.
Everybody you asked the question about the relationships. You asked the question. When they said they got divorced, you cut it off, said, well, how can I learn from you? Nope. How can I learn from you? Y'all failed. Is that true or not?
I said I would rather. You ain't listening, man.
Not
You gonna
learn.
make,
I
you
mean,
gonna make it. You
I'm
gonna
just
make it
asking.
fit what
I'm
you want.
asking. I'm
You gonna
asking.
make
I'm
it
not
fit what.
telling you. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm asking. Is that not what you said it did?
How many times I gotta tell you no, Dip?
Hey, it's the
I told you.
I just gotta play it back. Thank God we have it.
Yeah,
on-
run it back.
I would say I
For the
would
ones,
rather.
that's this. I'm gonna take Aisha's lead. We gotta do a challenge on this. Throw the red flag. We're gonna challenge this. The last show
Go to
is
the plate.
on. The last show is on YouTube on the Reinvention Center's channel. So if you can go back to that and you can hear the specific question. I know that I responding in some way to that conversation that's saying that failing is first attempt in learning. That's what that meant. I remember saying that last week. I don't know how or what it came about or how it happened or anything. Because I don't know the direct specifics of it. I don't, so, but I'm saying this here right now, Mr. Parks is saying, hey, not taking away from what happened last week, because I don't remember. But what he's saying right now is he would prefer for himself to deal with somebody who has won championships, opposed to dealing with somebody who has not won championships, but is still a great player. Because Reggie Miller's a great player. You see what I'm saying?
But also in our situation, asked if you divorced or you lost, was it your fault? Or was it some other factor that might be why
I
you're
don't
not
even think that was a question last week about
But
fault.
no, it wasn't a
blame
question.
or
This was
anything.
that, but I'm making a statement that I get that. But see, before I would say, okay, well, because I get what he's saying all day. 'Cause you know how I deal with it. But if you telling me, all right, you took an L in business, you had a business, or you had a restaurant, oh, but your restaurant closed. All right, well, I ain't listening to you. I wouldn't do that.
That
Well,
ain't
what
what he
happened? Why
said.
did
That
your
ain't what he
restaurant
said.
close?
That's not what he said tonight.
You're
I'm
not
going by what he
listening.
said
I'm not
tonight.
putting words in nobody's mouth.
Okay.
Why does everybody keep that? I don't need to do that. If I'm gonna tell somebody what they said or I think this, I'm man enough to directly say this is what I'm saying you said. I'm making a scenario right here. If you have a restaurant and you say I want to open a restaurant, because I go to people who do what I'm trying to do ahead of me. You say yours failed or you closed. All right. I'm not gonna automatically say because you say, all right, yours closed and it didn't work. I assume that you don't know business. I want to know, okay, well, why did it close? Was it something you did wrong? Was it something you didn't know? Was it your irresponsibility or was some circumstance that made it so that you had to close? You might have had the right recipe. You might have had the right business plan, everything, but you might have went in the building or in the wrong location. So I could still learn from you and say, okay, well, before I count you out to say, no, I can't hear what you're saying. No, I can't move like that. So that's all I was saying.
Okay, we got your point. That's all you saying.
Believe me, I don't take offense to much of nothing.
Okay. All right. You hear that, Mr. Parks? Okay. My brother Arthur Jones keeps saying that he was saying that he doesn't want his wife or anybody to tell her mother or anybody how much money they have in the bank, or anything else that's part of their relationship. We did a poll and a lot of people agreed on that as well, saying that you shouldn't tell your business. I'm going to play this video, and I want to say this before I even play the video. I'm looking at the information, not where it's coming from. You have multiple people that are saying things, but I was just looking at the information and not where it comes from.
For a great relationship?
Don't talk about it.
I take that to heart.
Yeah. I think the more you keep things private and between you and her, it's more personal that way and it lasts longer.
Stop talking about your relationship to other people. When you get married, form a two-handed circle. Don't let nobody else in that circle. Because if you let your mama in, she gonna mess it up. You can't let your friends in, they gonna mess it up. Form a two-handed.
Have any tips for a great relationship?
Don't talk about it.
I take that to heart.
Yeah. I think the more you keep things private and between you and her, it's more personal that way and it lasts longer.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much what about what Mr. Jones was saying. I feel that's what he was getting at. Is there anybody that disagree with that aspect of it, that they should not keep their relationship personal? All right, I want to show something else, and then we're gonna go from here.
If you're married and your single friend says, let's go out for dinner after work. If you're like, you know what, girl, let me just check with my husband. Your single friend may say, that's ridiculous. Is he controlling? You don't owe him your whereabouts. You're a grown woman. But then your husband is freaking out because he doesn't know where you are. But you have also disrespected him because now it's not just your time, it's now our time.
They don't understand how marriage works.
Yeah, and it's not just about safety, it's about respect. And I think sometimes we forget that when God says the two shall become one, we forget just how into what detail that goes. It's like I said, it's no longer his time or her time. Now it's our time. It's our house. It's our finances. And put yourself in your spouse's shoes. Do you want your spouse to just be out in the streets without letting you know where they are and disrespecting your time like that?
Any comments about that one?
I agree with it. I agree with it, you know, like.
I think that a lot of times what happens is we hear words and we hold on to words. Sometimes and as my Mr. Jones was saying earlier, don't make the word friend a bad word. I get that, understand that. We're not saying that friend is a bad thing. What makes it appear to be bad, because friend is never bad, but what it makes it appear to be bad is the actions of the behavior that's leading into that friendship or that's being poured into that friendship. When there's as they said in some of the videos, there has to be some boundaries set, some dynamics have to change. Every one of the people that Kevin Hayes spoke on were close to the people in some form or fashion, meaning working with them every day, talking to them, dealing with them, and all that. So things build, things materialize. People start to respect people more the more they be around them. And they realize they get to learn a person more, So sometimes I'm not saying don't have your friends, but I'm saying there has to be some boundaries. That's what we're saying. Also, I'm a big fan of this, and me and Mr. Jones spoke about this before, about when you go to somebody else. Let's say I tell my significant other, my wife, or whatever it may be, something, and that's for the betterment of our relationship. And then she doesn't, she doesn't act on it. And then she goes to her friend, male or female, and says, talk to them about it. And the friend gives them the exact same advice I give. And then she comes back, then my significant other comes back to me and say, okay, well, this is what this is. And I'm looking at her and saying, I told you the same thing. When I told you, it meant nothing. Why do it mean something now that she's telling me? To me, the act of going outside of what we have and not trying to figure it out together that's the bad behavior. And because of that bad behavior, you allow the negativity to come into the relationship, because now when they come back and tell you, when you come back and tell me what they told you, I'm going to feel some type of way. Because I'm saying, I'm your guide, I'm your protector. We're in this together. We should be figuring this out, not just your friend. Anybody disagree with that? Agree or disagree? Have a comment with that?
No, I agree.
Every scenario you're painting, James, is about the behavior though, bro. Not the label of the person. That's what I'm trying to get to. Everything you're painting is about someone's behavior. And it's not about frequency, duration, or any. That's what I'm getting to. I don't want no negativity. I don't want no disrespect. I don't want no offensiveness or miscommunication or non-communication. Whether it's with somebody you met last night, you can meet a random person in a bar and have a hell of a conversation with them, will be offended. So that's where I'm at there. Nobody wants offensive, disrespectful, non-prioritizing behavior in their relationship. Nobody. Whether it's a friend, the pastor, the stranger, whomsoever. Yeah, so yes, I agree wholeheartedly with that scenario, but don't just put it on the front. That's what my thing is. And I hear you guys are not doing that. But I'm saying your question tonight, though,
Your question tonight, your specific question tonight, can they have friends of the opposite sex if you're in a marriage or in a relationship? And my answer to that is yes, as long as you have boundaries, respect, communication, priorities and things of that nature. So my answer to that question that you asked tonight is yes, but it comes with boundaries, respect, communication, and things of that nature.
You know what? I think the wording can, that can means like permission. I think it should have been, should you have friends? That would have been a little bit, you know, then it's like an ethical thing, right? Should you have friends? But when you say can, that's like permission. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and depends on, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree. It's like a trigger word because some
Yeah.
people are going to say, they're going to take it as if you're trying to tell me what to do. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. You know, it's just a matter of each person. You know, but if we are one and you know me, you know I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You know, but I agree with you saying. I agree with you saying. Aisha.
I agree that it is a behavioral thing. And like the situation that you just described, the scenario, I think that's disrespectful to anyone, right? On any level. I don't want to, I sit in a position in my work where, you know, if I'm giving someone direction or telling them what needs to be done, or they're coming to me for some advice, and then you walk out of my office and go to the next office and ask the next person the very same thing, like it's kind of a waste of my time, which is disrespectful to me as a colleague. It's disrespectful in a relationship, absolutely. Again, the confiding in how you defined what a friend is, that's a no-no. And that's a no-no even with your girlfriends. Like, you know, everyone here has said, even with your parents or whomever. I think if you are truly in a committed relationship, you are going to drop a lot of your friends. There just is not time for your girlfriends, for the cousins that you used to hang out with. You just don't have that time. And as far as like the video with an after work situation, I had to laugh at that situation because I've been invited out, and then right, I bring my significant other and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? Well, when you invited me, you invited him. Like, what did you all think that this was going to be? And honestly, that nips things in the bud. I'm all for nipping things in the bud up front.
I call it shutting things down. That's what I call it. You know, we're using the same words. I call it shutting it down. Some people, I feel that, and it's just my opinion, that if we are in a committed relationship, that we should figure things out ourselves. You know, if I'm not explaining it to you in a way where you can grasp it, then you need to tell me, give me a different way. Tell me a different way. Don't walk away not having understanding and say, well, I'm gonna go ask somebody else. And then when you ask them that somebody else, they come back and they give you the answer because I'm going to be offended. Let me play this video on what we're speaking on.
He gives you advice, or he gives you a suggestion or a solution, and you completely disregard what he says, and he's like, okay, fine, you know, do what you want, you know, I'm not going to sin on us, right? And then you hear someone else give that exact same advice, that exact same suggestion, and then you accept it from them. That starts off as very frustrating, but again, it can lead to something much bigger, right? And one of the reasons why it is annoying and it can be considered disrespectful is because it's you pretty much telling him that you don't think he's qualified to give you the advice. You don't believe that he is adequate enough to say whatever it is he's saying. You trust whatever this other person is saying much more than you trust what he is saying, which is wrong because that's your man. Y'all lay in the bed together. You are vulnerable. When he gives you advice,
You know, I'm not trying to put nobody in no boxes. You know, I'm always seeking knowledge. I'm always looking for something different because I'm always looking to evolve, to grow. So in order for me to grow, I have to look at information from people that are different than me. Um, so I'm always looking at these videos. You know, I'm always, you know, reading books or I'm doing different things, you know, or listening to something. I listen to a lot of books on my job. When I'm walking around, I listen to it on my phone, do audio books. You know, so, you know, the thing is, I think that we all are that everybody's goal should be is to be committed to the commitment, not make each other feel uncomfortable, regardless of who we're around. No, a friend is not something that's a bad thing. No, no one is saying don't have no friends, but you have to change your behavior. You have to test some boundaries. Change your behavior is setting boundaries. If my, if somebody approaches me and I know I'm in a relationship, I have to shut it down, as you said. I forget the word you used, Aisha. What was the word you used?
I don't even remember, sorry.
Okay, but basically shut it down. I have to nip it in
Nip
the
it in the
bud.
bud, like,
Nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Hey, this is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And then go from there. I can't let that person walk away thinking that there's even a remote possibility that something can go down later on down the line. Because if that's the case, then it goes back to the video where the guy say, I'm working. Yeah, I'm hanging with your girl, but I'm working. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, you should be worried about me because I'm working. Because this guy did not leave knowing there's no remote possibility of this happening. You know, everybody have their own ways of looking at things and doing things. You know, so, you know, we just have to, if you want the commitment, the commitment. Me and my brother spoke earlier, Mr. Jones, and we were speaking on a scenario where we had some people we know that got caught cheating, but divorce wasn't an option. That commitment still stayed the same, but it's going to be some consequences, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to work through this because we're committed. As you grow, then we evolve to, hey, as Dip said, as Carlos said, don't put yourself in that position. You know, and that's sometimes the best thing to do is not put yourself in the position. When you see a person come and says something, whether you deem it disrespectful or not, whether you deem it as if they are not really interested in you. If they change their behavior, change their pattern, gotta nip it in the bud, man. Because if I come around that corner and see something that inappropriate, I deem as inappropriate, I'm going to address it. Then I'm being labeled as being insecure. You
Hey,
know,
can I give you one scenario? I want to give you a real life scenario what really
go ahead,
happened.
sir. Go ahead.
I was a peer support specialist. As a peer support specialist, I worked as a liaison with mental illness, right? We house individuals in apartments. I had to work with property managers. I was, you know, I had to be a liaison between my client and the property manager at the apartment complex they lived at. Every apartment complex in Greensboro got a Black woman as a property manager. So I'm constantly dealing with these people, right? One of them kind of got too close, you know, and I could kind of feel it, right? So I did what Aisha said. I nip it in the blood and nip it in the bud. And this is exactly what she said. Well, we can just be friends. No. And you know what I said? Nah, we can't be friends. I don't want no female friends. I promise you, James, it's on everything. She tried to lock me in the door in the office with her, right? Laughing. A Puerto Rican. I'm like, man, if you don't open that motherfucking door, yo, let me out this office, yo. Like, and then I went back to my job and I told my supervisors, I'm not going back to that apartment complex. And I never went back.
as you should have, because that's sexual harassment and it shouldn't be
And that's
done to you.
and my supervisors went out there and they checked her on that, right? But it's just that's part of the reason why I don't no friends, because you don't know what that person's you know, they might have an ulterior motive, you know, like they might want to like think they can smash. So I don't even want to let it develop to friendship. Like, and I've never had no female friends. I had female associates. I never had female friends. So I mean, maybe it's cool for some people. I never had none.
That's funny though, because a lot of times women of different backgrounds, I'll say, definitely push up on Black men because they feel like you want them, right? You never know. You're right. You never know what's going on in someone's mind. They feel like they are the ultimate prize.
And I think that's a goal for them. I think sometimes I feel like women feel like there's points for them if they can get a married man to cheat.
There
I'm serious. I
there
really
are
feel like
women out there that are like that. Absolutely. To feel like they have a one up, you know. And it's funny because I don't have a sister in this world. I'm my mother's youngest, and I'm raised by men on that side, and I'm my father's oldest, and I got nothing but brothers on that side. And with that comes like I'm comfortable around men. That's not to say that I don't have genuine friendships, but I you know, with women I do. And a lot of times my girlfriends will come to me because I'm just comfortable around men. A lot of women are not comfortable just being around male energy. It's not easy for them. And then they'll go into something where it has to be sexual. They have to be wanted or sought after in a room full of men versus just being themselves.
Okay.
Hey, can I throw this in?
Throw it right on in, brother.
They got if TD Jakes got a joint on YouTube with Van Moody. Oh, let me see what exactly it's called. About friendships and the different type part. Van Johnson, transformational relationships. One of the best videos I've ever seen in my life describing friends. I'm see if I can put the link in here. But it's TD Jakes in the Potter House with Van Johnson talking about transformational relationships. That's a super great video describing the different types of relationships with people.
Okay. Please get us the information. So 'cause I would like to look at it. I would definitely like to look at it myself. Always like new information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this last video for entertainment purposes. You see it? Okay. I'm gonna play this video for information purposes. We covered a lot of ground. Videos coincided with things we had said. And I think that once we show the video, then we're gonna figure out what the conclusion is that we came to based on this two-part discussion, and then go from there. You know, so let me play the video, share the video first, and then we'll go from there. Information purposes only. I'm not sure if I played this one or not, so let me know.
Constantly engaging with, you have a problem. If she feels the need to call, text, or socialize, there's something in a man she values that you don't possess. She might think you're boring. She might think you're not man enough. She might not like the McLovin. But what you have to understand is women who are in love with a man don't seek attention, companionship, or validation from another man. This woman doesn't respect you. Respect is hard to gain, easy to lose, and impossible to get back what you've had. If you have a woman who keeps male friends that she's constantly engaging with, you have a problem. If she feels the need to call, text, or socialize, there's something in a man she values that you don't possess. She might think you're boring. She might think you're not man enough. She might not like the McLovin. But what you have to understand is women who are in love with a man don't seek attention, companionship, or validation from another man. This woman doesn't respect you. Respect is hard to gain, easy to lose, and impossible to get back what you've had. If you have a woman who...
Any comments on that? All right. Well,
I think I totally agree with that, right? It's about the validation. And like I said, a lot of women, they have a hard time just being around male energy, men, and not seeking some sort of attention. But a woman who is committed in love with someone is going to be very hard to deter her, move her, like, I agree with that video. And if you have someone that's calling and texting and seeking validation and attention, you have a problem.
Like I said, I pay these for entertainment. I did, as y'all see, I did a little research last week. And I wanted to bring something different perspectives. I didn't want it to come from me. I appreciate everybody's input, and it seems that even though it appeared, or some people may say it appeared that we didn't agree, we agreed on a lot of different things. The video coincided. Coincided with each other. I would like to ask one final question, and whoever want to answer can answer it. And then after the questions answered, then we're going to go ahead and close the show. What I don't want to, hey man, God got me where they say I box people in with my questions. What do we get from this? Let me say it that way. What did we get from this? What did you take from this? Do you think that it's okay to have a friend of opposite sex, male or woman? We spoke a lot about men, but male or woman, that they are giving their intimacy to, meaning on the phone with all the time, personal time, confide in, trust and respect. Do you think it's okay? What do you think would be the best recipe to have a successful relationship? What are some of the things that y'all took away from this?
Well, I believe that it's cool. Everything is cool if it's done within balance. But all that intimate talk, discussing your relationship, going out for drinks, hanging out together, doing things that you should be doing with your significant other, there's no need for you to be in that relationship. But by way of having a friend within balance, and on both sides, the man and the woman know, your significant other know about this individual, and he or she is not dominating your time, then yeah, I think it's cool within balance. But all that talking about the intimate stuff, we're gonna go hang out, we're gonna have a few beers, we're gonna do this together, we're going on a trip together, we're gonna do no. A good classic example is the two news reporters. What's that? Amy Robach and the other news reporter guy, where they husbands and wives knew each other, and they used to take these trips and stuff together. Now all of a sudden they all get in divorce and everything. Now all of a sudden they all get in divorce and everything, and then kicked off of ABC because they taking these trips and different things there, and they linked up. So so you shouldn't even open the door for that. And how you open the door for that is by not, what they used to say when I was a kid. If you don't want to smell it, don't go buy it. If you don't want to taste it, don't smell it. And if you don't want to eat it, don't taste it. So prevention has always been the best cure. So that's my position with that. But if it's done within balance, okay, cool.
Next. Yeah, I'm gonna say this because I was asked that question. I'm going to say this. I was asked, what did I get from this conversation? I think that, as Mr. Hayes just said, we all agreed to not to put yourself in that position. I think back to a movie, The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston and then Kevin Costner. He was hired to do a job. And they ended up being in a relationship. I think the more you be around the person, the more you interact with the person, the more emotions tend to grow. Now, some people would say, hey, my emotions are not growing. And that may be very well so. But that doesn't mean the other person's emotion is not growing. That doesn't mean that person don't have no interest in you. Everybody likes security. Everybody, seeks attention. Everybody wants to feel a certain type of way. And if I'm around a person all the time, and I'm not just speaking to me personally, I'm just saying, in the scenarios that we seen with Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston movie, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and all of them, these people were around people a significant amount of time, and they was around them because they trusted them, and things develop into something else. Because the more time that you spend with somebody, however it may be, telephone or whatever, the more possibility or probability that something can happen. So I feel that if two people are in a relationship, they should be committed to the commitment. You heard me say this earlier, committed to the commitment. Nothing should be able to come between them and their commitment. Everybody should understand that the commitment comes first. When as Aisha said, when somebody come up, it should be nipped in the bud. I have a husband, I'm engaged, whatever the case, I have a man, and nip it in the bud and shut it down. And you don't have to do that in a rude way, in a bad way, and that's not being rude, that's being straightforward. But if you, so a friend, that's not a bad thing. The behavior is what's bad. So if everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, it's not a problem. How do you keep everybody doing what they're supposed to do? Nobody in a relationship has no individual friends. All friends should be a friend of the relationship. Even if he was your friend or she was your friend before you got into that relationship, they have to accept your relationship and become a part of, be a friend of the relationship at that point there. If they remain a friend to you, then that's the problem. Because all the advice, if you go confide in them, all the advice they're going to give you is going to be directed to the betterment of you. So I think that it's, just if you want to be in a relationship, be in a relationship. If you're not ready to be in a relationship, then don't be in a relationship, because you can't do those things in a relationship and think it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to read what J Love has said. Let me get to J Love. The recipe to success in any relationship is know thyself. When you know who you are and what you really want, you will attract the relationship you desire. I believe that wholeheartedly, J Love. I can't expect to attract love and attention from my mate if I'm showing that to somebody else and not my mate. Or I'm showing it more to somebody else other than my mate. Definitely agree with that. I think that we shouldn't go outside our relationships. Again, that commitment. I think that we should be trying to figure everything out on our own. I think that some of the videos, I'm not gonna say were far-fetched. I just think that they were bluntly truthful. Like the guy said, for him, hey, I slept with every one of my friends. We started out as friends. For years we were friends, but then we went to something else. So what I got out of it, work on it, commit to the commitment, and there are no personal friends. It should be friends of the relationship. That's what I get out of it. Anybody else before we close? All right. Well, I got a plane to catch. Me and Trump got to shoot golf tomorrow up in New York. He goes to jail too. He got to turn himself in. So we're going to hang out a little bit before we go. So with that being said, everybody, I want to say thank you for coming in tonight and having the show, bringing your different perspectives. Love everyone for that. And I'll look forward to seeing y'all again next week.
Right on.
Good night.
Good night.